الله الكبير. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. الله الكبير. We are infinitely grateful to God for giving us this opportunity, and again, this is not by accident, and this is by divine design and providence that we are here today, and our time is not up yet, and so God has graced us with this huge blessing today, and we are in a position to make a better individual out of ourselves and closer to our Creator. So this is a huge opportunity that we should take advantage of, and get closer to our Creator. So that should be our ultimate goal, and that makes us eligible for spending eternity with God, and that is what the joy of paradise is. And so God is promising this beautiful abode for us if we are in a position to better ourselves and lead a righteous life. And most important of them all is that we have to worship God alone and take Him as our advocate. And so we have to put that in front of our tasks every day that we wake up by God's grace. And so that is a time that God has given us another chance to redeem ourselves. So it's ultimately important to be grateful to God and for all the mercy and the favors that He bestowed upon us, all the blessings that He has bestowed upon us, that we are the recipient of this huge generosity from God, and so we have to be grateful to Him, grateful to the source of all of these blessings and favors that is bestowed upon us. Again, this is something that we have to have in mind all the time, that gratefulness and appreciativeness is a godlike quality, and we have to follow that. We have to follow the path of God and return and respond in kind for His huge generosity of being grateful to us and thankful to us for the righteous tasks that we do every day. And so we also have to be grateful to Him and keep that in mind all the time, that we can never be grateful enough to God, to the source of all these blessings that we have. Today, what I wanted to talk to you about is that we've seen all kinds of huge signs from God, and God is telling us that to take this to heart and be watchful and make sure that you do not reject my signs and my proofs. And so we should be always careful that we give due measures to all of these proofs that we see, and treat them with grace and gratefulness and appreciativeness that God has seen it fit for us to be the recipient of all of these different proofs that God has given us. So what is the point of this? The point is that God wants us to actually have proof that He exists. Okay, this is all of the signs that God has shown throughout history and today, which is this mathematical sign that we are privileged and honored to receive. These are proofs of existence of God. Existence of God, who is the all-gracious, the all-merciful. He's a God who is generous, and God alone is worthy of worship. And so this is to continuously extol God. Okay, so this is not to put somebody on a pedestal. Okay, these are mechanisms by which God actually introduces himself to us, and he tells us he exists. And we should be absolutely sure of that. So all of these is to actually, for us to realize the greatness of God and appreciate it. Okay? So make sure that is how you look at it. Okay? You look at these things through this lens that is only to extol God. God wants for us to realize his greatness, his power. God wants us to know his generosity, his love for us. He wants to prove that to us. And as I said, he has chosen the language of mathematics, which is absolutely universal. Okay? When you show a number to somebody, that number is a unique number. You and I have a different number. Everybody has a different number. Every elementary particle has a different number. Okay? And that object is unique in the entire universe, in the entire God's creation, that object that is absolutely unique. There is none alike that one. Okay? Sometimes you see something and, you think that, well, this is symmetric, for example, right? That somehow you look at your image in the mirror and you think that's symmetric, but when you look at your image in the mirror, what happens is that when you raise your right hand, your image in the mirror actually raises its left hand. Okay? So that's not symmetric. It's not the same thing. Okay? The two halves of your face is not symmetric. You can do that with your if you have Photoshop or something, you can do that. You can have a picture of yourself and cut it in half and then put the two right sides together and two left sides together. They're two different people. Okay? That means you're not symmetric. So that means that everything is actually made unique. Okay? It's absolutely unique. And this is the beauty of it. So that's how he wants to actually show us that I create you as a unique individual, no matter how small or how large you are. And that is the amazing part of creation. Okay? That's the glory of creation. The differences that we have. That everybody, everything is unique. It's not copied. We think that, as I said, this is my own belief, okay, as a scientist. Okay, according to what the Quran is telling me, that all elementary particles are not alike. When you say neutrinos, you think people think neutrinos are all alike. They are not. Every one of us has a unique property. And that unique property only is tailored and assigned to that specific object and nobody else, no matter what you may call them. Okay? That's ignorance on our part, that we think that, they're all alike. Just because we cannot tell the difference. You see two ants, you think that they are alike. But every ant is different. And that's the glory of creation. And so that's how God wants to show himself to us, to introduce himself to us. Okay, and the numbers that we see. Okay. So I told you, you can look it up, and go to Google search and say, the number of particles in the universe, and it tells you it's the order of between 10 to the 78 into the 82 atoms in the universe. They're mostly hydrogen, okay? So that means that's how many protons you have in the entire universe. Maybe 100 a million times more than that is number of neutrinos and number of photons. Okay? But that's only raise it to 10 to the 86. That means 1 with 86 zeros. Okay? We've shown here 1 with 1,281 zeros. Okay? And God says, I assign a number to everything. We just saw something with 800,000 zeros. Can you imagine the extent of God's creation? Boggles the mind. That's how he wants to introduce us. That's why I said all of these are to extol God. For us to realize how great he is. These are the reasons that he sends proofs and signs. Okay? And so all of this in the back of our minds, we have to always remember that when we look at these numbers, when we look at the Quran, and we see how beautiful it was offered, okay, that only God alone can do this in the words. Okay, that's how he wants to prove himself to us. And we have to realize it. We have to realize his greatness, how great, powerful, merciful, gracious he is. And that realization makes a better human being from us, out of us, makes a better servant of God, makes somebody who's closer to God, makes somebody who's hopeful all the time. Okay? Within this whole picture I just described, okay, then we know that everything belongs to him. We are just temporary custodian of certain things. Okay? That's who we are. He has allowed us to be temporary custodians of certain things in this worldly life. In the bigger picture, everything belongs to him. And has at his disposal. You and I and everything that we know and everybody that we know, we are here at God's pleasure. Okay? That is the idea that God wants to transmit to us. That's the idea that he wants us to realize. Okay? That's the idea that he wants to prove to us how immense and great everything that he has is. And that is how we should look at these things. So again, these are not for putting individual on a pedestal or something like that. These are all designed to appreciate and to extol God, realize how great he is, which we cannot even fathom it. You have to appreciate it. And that's what gives us hope. Okay, that greatness and within power of his, within the love that he has for us, within the kindness and mercy and generosity that he has for us. That gives us hope. So, as we are here as the recipient of all of these things, these signs and these proofs, first of all, our responsibility goes up higher, much higher than other people. Okay. And because we have seen things that they have not seen. And we should not drop this, treat it with contempt, treat it as something that who cares? Okay. Otherwise, we are going to be those people that God is describing in chapter 74. Okay. That's what God says. Look, they said, so what? What does that have to do with me today? What did God mean by this thing? So we are, as I said, we are the recipient of this, and we have to be honored, and we have to be happy and content that God has bestowed this huge honor upon us, this huge blessing upon us, and keep reinforcing that thing in us to increase our faith in Him, okay, and get closer to Him, okay. So I'm going to stop here and we'll finish this.